Hello everyone, my name is Fred Scarbrough, and last weekend at our worship services for the Wesleyan Fellowship Group, I gave at the end an update on how the group is doing and where we're going to be going and the things that they could be looking for. And there was about 40 people there, so those of you that have already heard that message, and I also put it on YouTube. So the reason why I'm doing this one is because I just felt like the YouTube video wasn't very good. We have over 140 people that have actually attended Wesleyan Fellowship Group sermons. So I want to make sure that this goes out to all of you. So if you have not seen the tape or the video from YouTube, or if you were not at the worship service, please watch this video because I think it'll give you an honest update as to where we are, where we're going, and I'm also going to do a survey at the end, and I'll be emailing that survey out to everyone. The idea in the survey is that people that have attended the Wesleyan Fellowship Group services get to vote on some things that we might do as we go forward. So let me start with the first one. The first bullet point is there are two visions. One is the kingdom, and the other one is just traditional worship. I started off just wanting to do a traditional worship. Many of you had come to me from Christ Church and wondered what was happening with the church and wanted me to get involved and see what I could do. I'm talking 125, maybe even 150 of them. After praying about that and trying so hard, I decided that we probably needed to separate. And yet the timing wasn't good because there was at least 2 or 3 months before the General Conference was going to meet on May 5th. And then with the large United Methodist Church could probably separate. Since that time, I've really had the Holy Spirit speaking to me. And it's really, to me now, it's morphed into a kingdom issue. So people are wondering, well, why is Fred so involved with the Wesleyan Covenant Association? Why is he going to these worldwide meetings? Why is he listening to and watching all that's going on around the country and with the big United Methodist Church? The reason for that is that I really feel like this country and even this world is in a time when we are a Y in the road. We can either go to the left or to the right. And I think part of that is Christianity. I think it's being attacked. I think traditional values are being lost. And I soon think they're going to attack Jesus. And that bothers me. So I am involved with that. However, many of the people that are coming to the worship are really not so heavy into that kind of world kingdom type issues, and that's just fine. Just come and have a wonderful traditional experience with some friends and fellowship. We want to try to grow our ministry. We want to invite more people to come. In the next year, as we start to determine how this is going to work, we want to grow so that we can be a traditional, probably a charter member of the new Methodist Church, whatever happens after the General Conference. Many of you know that that was supposed to be May 5th of this year, so we thought we were in for a 2-month experience. Now we're in for a 2-year experience, at least 15 months between now and the time that the United Methodist Church is going to have the General Conference and we'll have an opportunity to vote. So a very good chance that we're going to have separation. And for me, it's a kingdom issue. I'm also looking, of course, for traditional worship service. If that's what the point that you're at right now, that's just fine. Bullet point number 2 is 15 to 24 months before applying for a charter membership church in the new traditionalist church. Well, that's going to happen to us. What's going to happen is we've got a long time now, so instead of being just a small little movement, this is actually going to be a 15 to 24 month movement. That's a problem because now we have to make sure that we have plenty of worship services. We're going to have pastors. We want to try to grow the ministry. We need to have music. We need to make some decisions. And a lot of those decisions are going to be made by us because, as you can see in my bullet point number 3, everything that we do is going to be a church-wide vote on everything. The reason for that is we all felt like in the last few months, we'd lost that ability to vote as a church. I can promise you that as long as I'm involved, we will always be voting as a church on every single issue. So, now admittedly, not on what color the bulletin is or anything like that, but any big issue that comes along, this is not going to be 10 or 12 people making the decision for us. We're going to vote as a church. And that vote starts actually today. As you see at the end here, I've got a survey for you to vote on. and to send in for the type of worship that we want going forward. The next bullet point is election of representatives. Probably not calling them council members. That has a little bad connotation for us that have just left Christ Church. So we'll call them something else. But the conversation on Saturday night at the worship was 12 members. So those of you that have gone to our worship that feel called to be leaders, I would ask you to send your names to me, just email them to me. We are going to probably vote in the next month as a congregation, and we'll probably choose 12 members. That could be the first delegates, I guess you would call us, and those delegates could then make some decisions for us, day-to-day type decisions. We still will have church-wide vote for anything we do, but right now we've been being ran by a steering committee. I love the steering committee. They're wonderful people, but nobody voted them in. We were 12, 14, 18 people that just decided that we didn't like what we were seeing at Christ Church, so we went over and started meeting in a house, started organizing this, and fantastic. Many of them are leaders, and we want them to stay as leaders. But some of them may have a season and they've timed out, and so we're going to free them up to go away as far as being leaders in this. However, anybody that wants to be a leader, thinks they would like to step up, just send me your name. We'll put it on a list. Within a few weeks, we'll probably vote to see who the initial delegates will be for the Wesleyan Fellowship Group. The next one is open and transparency on everything, is my pledge to you. So through the years, not just recently, but through the years, I have felt bad that churches try to keep too many things secret. It's not healthy. Whenever something is hidden, there's always a chance for foul play or misdeeds or somebody doing something that benefits them but not for the whole church. I will vow that everything will be transparent, probably to a fault. People have accused me of saying too much too early before things have been decided. If you call me up and ask me a question, I will give you an honest answer, even if it's something that's in the process, unless I'm hurting somebody else. But I will promise you that transparency will be top of the line for the Wesleyan Fellowship Group going forward. And the last bullet point is the website. We just bought a website, a web company. The company is called Church 360. Davie United Methodist Church uses that website, likes them. I've contacted them several times, spoken to them, and their price was reasonable, so we purchased it. The good news on that is that we're probably within a week or two of actually launching the website. There's actually 3 parts to the website. There's a membership part, there's a ledger part, and there's a part called Unite. The Unite is actually the website that you open up on your computer in the first picture that you see, and it's about us and our location, our service times, all that. But members and the money part is also part of it, and we have several volunteers that have already said they were interested in helping with that. So the ledger part will be the financial part, and of course members will keep everybody listed in. You'll be soon getting an email from us that said you've attended at least one service for the Wesleyan Fellowship Group. Would you like to be considered a member as far as on our website, so that we can stay in touch with you and let you know how much if you've tithed. And we will also be doing online giving, and all those things are going to happen within the next 2 to 4 weeks. So stay tuned and stay involved. Now for the actual survey and questions that we may need to be answered. As we go forward, many people, number one, have told me that if all things were equal, do you want to do a Saturday night service or do you want to do a Sunday morning at 9 o'clock service? People that know more than I do about how to grow a church say that you've almost got to have a Sunday morning service. It's difficult to grow a church if you just have a Saturday night service. So the survey asks you the question, if all things were equal, would you prefer a Saturday night service only, a Sunday morning service only, or if we get to a size and the ability, would you want to do a Saturday and a Sunday? At this point, we're pretty well voting on, do you want to do a Saturday night only and a Sunday morning early? Sunday mornings are problematic. They're kind of difficult to get done because pastors are busy and churches are busy, and finding a location is difficult. However, I'll show you in a few minutes that we've had several opportunities there, and a lot of them are right in front of us, so we need to make a decision. And if we do make a decision for Sunday morning, We have at least 3 or 4 different options for that. Number 2 is the music. Do you want hymnals only? Do you want a mix of hymnal and contemporary, or contemporary only? So in the survey, all I'm asking you to do is email me back the answers to these questions. You can circle them, or you can just write contemporary or hymnal only or mix, and I'm going to tabulate those. We already have about 25 or 30 in from the service the other night, and we'll see where people sit, because that's what we want to do. We want to be open, transparent, and we want everybody to have a voice. The next one is communion. There's been a discussion among the steering committee. Do we want to do communion every week? Do we want to do communion once a month, at the first of the month? You know, what's your preference? So I would just ask you to let me know if you want to do communion every week, mark down weekly. If you want to do it once a month, mark down monthly. And the last one is, are you willing to travel to our own venue for worship? If it is north of Sunrise and east of I-95, yes or no? I guess the question there is, we're going to have to search for our own venue. It may end up being at Shepherd of the Coast Church. They've offered to work with us, but if we decide to do Sunday morning, there's some problems there. We also have another opportunity to worship at 2 or 3 other places, even on Sunday morning. My whole goal is to make sure that when we do have a place to worship, we have enough time and enough space that we can have fellowship. Our group are very, very friendly. We like to talk to each other. We like to do functions, and I want us to be able to do that, especially as we reach out to new people. And new people are going to be reaching out to us as they find out that the church is splitting and that we are traditional and there is a progressive wing, and they go, I don't think I like that progressive wing. What do I do? Where do I go? How do I get involved? We want to be that door, that window for them. So pray about all these things, and with this email, just let me know by emailing me back what you think. Now, I also explained to everybody, and we came out and told everyone at the worship service on Saturday night, that Pastor Larry is going to be leaving us. We love Pastor Larry. He has been a godsend. Of all the things that have happened, the Holy Spirit has opened up so many doors, and that's the reason why we have 140 people that have attended our church, and Larry has just been a blessing. He's a retired Methodist pastor, and this is taking on a new life now that it's not just 2 or 3 months, it's actually more like 2 years. So Pastor Larry is going to retire after the July 4th sermon. So all of you who really love Pastor Larry and want to say goodbye to him, try to come to that July 4th service, 6 o'clock on Saturday night. We have another pastor that's going to be joining us, at least for a couple of 3 weeks. His name is Eric Specken. Eric is a very successful businessman. I call him a young man because he's younger than me, but in his 40s, and he's got a wife, a couple of kids. He is just turning his life over to God. He's been going to Knox Seminary for a couple of years and really is trying to decide if he wants to be a full-time pastor or not. So Eric will be coming next week, next Saturday, to meet us. Larry will be giving the service, but Eric's going to be there and say hello to everybody, get to meet everybody, and answer some questions for you. So if you would like to meet him, fine. The other opportunity that's coming is that Pastor Brad Smith, some of you may know Brad, he's been around for a while. He's the head pastor and the founder of City Church. City Church has been an outreach church that started several years back. They're up to about 150 members now, and they're a family church. They're mostly younger family members with children and youth groups and all that. We both think, Brad and I have known Brad for years. He was actually on the Hope South Florida board for a while. We both think that this could be a symbiotic relationship. They have young family members, we have older folks, and if we could get together, Brad has offered to help us with service maybe at 9 o'clock on a Sunday. Right now they're worshiping at the, I call it Second Pres, on Federal Highway just north of Sunrise. And they're looking for another place, but that's a possibility. We're also going to be meeting Brad. He's going to be coming probably not this next week, but the following week to meet the congregation, answer some questions. He's talking to his group about the possibility of us joining together where we could do a 9 o'clock, they do an 11 o'clock. So We don't know where that's going to go, but just keep praying about those two opportunities. We also have an opportunity to stay where we are at Shepherd of the Coast. It's a little more difficult. We'd have to find our own music and our own pastor, but that can be done. And they seem to be willing to talk to us about a Sunday morning. So at this point, I just want to thank you all for listening to everything. You're going to be getting this video along with an email. And the email will just be answer those questions on the survey, send it back to me, I'll tabulate everything, and we'll let everybody know. Thank you so much for being involved, and thank you so much for praying about our ministry.